Hello, hello. Happy Sunday. Happy Easter if you celebrate Easter. And if you do not, happy Sunday, like always. um, how has everybody's week been? Is what I want to know. Has it been a good week? Has it been a busy week? Have you had time to chill out and relax kind of week? Is always a good week in my world. I've got tea tonight, decaf tea, so that you know, I don't stay awake all night. All right, tonight's topic, I have no slides for. I have to stay on track, but we'll see how we go. Um, let's talk about luxury. And the reason for this topic is that I went to a Thai astrologer yesterday, which was a luxury, right? Treating myself to go and see somebody that you don't need to see. It's just a luxury doing things like that, but a fun luxury. And let me preface luxury by saying luxuries don't necessarily have to cost a lot of money. They're just something you wouldn't normally do, even though they're fun for you or lovely for you or whatever it is. So luxury isn't necessarily, going off to Dior or Louis Vuitton and getting your favorite pair of shoes that cost a cajillion dollars. Luxury can just literally be letting yourself do the things that light you up. And that's when I saw the astrologer yesterday, she said to me, she says, "Oh, you should be working in the field of luxuries." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because work-wise, she said, and I think it's also my what I'm meant to conquer in this lifetime. I'm not sure. It was very different to the astrology that I'm used to, so I'm still not quite sure of it. But she was saying that Venus, which is the goddess of luxury. And I've got my list here that she gave me: love, money, indulgence, comfort, luxury, sexuality, naturalness, and femininity is where I'm supposed to focus. And I'm like, wow, that's so not what I thought for my world. I'm so practical. I'm so, structured and things like that. So I found that really interesting. So afterwards, I'd sort of, as I tend to ponder on these kinds of things, I went and took myself to a beauty salon. Another thing I haven't done in the 6 months since we moved here, because it's a luxury. Not because we don't have the money. We did allocate money for me to be able to go and do the waxing and the nails and all that sort of thing that I would normally do. But it's just, I don't know. I haven't given myself the luxury of time to go and find somewhere that I was happy to use, or maybe we're still trying to make sure that we're absolutely sure of our budget. I don't know. Whatever it was like, oh, yeah, I really have struggled over my lifetime with not showering myself with luxuries, but letting myself live out luxurious things. And even the other ones on this list, indulgence and comfort and, that kind of thing is like, oh, yeah, I really have to sort of justify to myself being indulgent with things I might purchase or that sort of thing, right? So that's been really fascinating. But I thought it was really good also to look at what is luxury. Right? As I said, luxuries are different for everybody. And when you've got a chronic disease, I've got two. I've got lipedema and thyroid disease. So it's like luxury for some of us might just be the luxury of not having a disease, not having a chronic illness to deal with. Luxury for other people would be living with that disease, living with those issues like lipedema, and still living well. Because, like, as far as we know, there's no reversing this, right? So even if we, spring for the liposuction, which is the holy grail of getting rid of it, supposedly getting rid of the lipedema fat that we've got in our body already, then there's no guarantee it can come back if you're not following certain rules and lifestyle habits and avoiding all the things that will make it grow. So even if you do that, that's a luxury, but is it a forever luxury? No. So having the luxury of being able to live well, even with a chronic disease, like, my thyroid disease, I still take a tablet every single day. It's way less than what I ever had. I don't have any thyroid symptoms for the most part, unless it needs changing, then I notice it. And so, I would say from a thyroid perspective, I live a pretty luxurious life because I live very well with it. I just have to take that tablet at this point in time. So maybe with lipedema, the luxury for you would be you've got lipedema, but once you put your clothes on, you feel really well put together. You feel lovely. You don't feel like you look like you have lipedema. And so nobody's going to be, asking you about it or judging you for it or whatever it is in your case. That might be the luxury for you, right? So luxury, when you pull apart a word like that, I always like to look at it from so many different angles. So, and often we don't justify luxury as well. There's another way of looking at it. We don't justify, living a luxurious life or having things that feel like luxuries. When we've got issues in our body or with the look of our body, and I've experienced this for many, many decades, right? 10, 15, God, no, 35 years of being overweight. And only 3 years of being back to a normal size. However, the lower half of my body is still, in fact, it's probably saggier than it ever was because of the weight loss. And I still have the lipedema legs. So, justifying nice clothes and expensive compressions and things like that, sometimes there's a little bit like, and also age that comes into it. Oh, I'm 55, just what is the point in buying, fancy clothes or fancy nice things and spending money? And, that's a luxury. But I want to come back to the years before I had weight loss surgery and the years before I lost weight. And for the most part, I didn't feel like I deserved to have any nice things because it didn't matter what I wore or what I dressed in. I was still morbidly obese. There was no getting around that. You couldn't fool yourself into thinking, mind you, I still look at some photos of myself and I go, wow, I didn't even realize. I knew I was big, but I didn't know I was that big, right? And so you dress for practicality. You dress for what outfit will cover my arms and my hips, right? So the luxury of choosing what you want to wear or choosing things that make you feel nice, it's just not in the front of mind. It's just not out there of something that, that's a choice, I guess is the way I want to look at it. So, but here's the thing. I was looking at something yesterday about luxuries because I like to do a little deep dive into these things. And the luxury thing that I came across, which was so fascinating to me, was that it can reduce cortisol. And that sounds really weird, right? But hear me out. So if you are living what you perceive, again, it's about what you perceive to be a life of luxury, or you're doing things for yourself every day that are luxurious or comforting, or, what are the other ones on this list? That's all indulgent, right? That kind of thing. Then that actually takes your body out of fight and flight. It is calming to your nervous system to be in a luxurious state or partaking in luxurious things because your body doesn't perceive that you're in a life-threatening situation if you are purchasing things that you consider to be a luxury. Again, that does not mean a gajillion dollars worth of luxury. That could just be a $20 luxury item. So your nervous system doesn't see that you are in a time of famine, so to speak, because you are having these luxury items, you are purchasing these luxury items, you are taking the time to experience luxurious things or indulgent things. So therefore, when you're in that state or in that world, you are not in fight or flight because you're telling your body it's okay, we're safe, we can have that thing, we can have that that luxury. We can buy those earrings or necklace or whatever. And I think this necklace was like a whole, I don't know, $5, if that, probably not, from Bali many years ago. But that's just an example. When we go on holidays, we buy all these little luxuries that cost next to nothing. But when we're home on an everyday basis, we don't think about the little luxuries that can make us feel good and that make us feel life is great, right? We just don't do it. And so I had to stop and think about, okay, what are luxuries for me? And this is still a work in progress, as it always is. And luxuries for me is potentially saving money for my legs to be done, but going to a specialist, right? So I'm very happy here getting the rest of my surgeries done here in Bangkok. But to do lipedema legs, full legs, because I've got type like from ankle to hips, I want to see a specialist. So the luxury there would be going somewhere that is specializing in lipedema surgery. So that's a luxury for me. Going out and buying coffee every day. I had this conversation today with my husband, and we were talking about, he's like, let's get a coffee machine, or I'll figure out how to, make you nice coffee, or you can make nice coffee at home. And I'm like, no, but that's not a luxury for me. The luxury for me is somebody else making the coffee for me, right? So it's like, and for me here, that's like $1.60 or whatever it is. It's nothing here to buy a coffee, to go out and have a coffee made for you. And I take great joy and pleasure. And to me, it's a luxury to stand there and watch wherever I'm buying the coffee, because I go to different places, make my coffee. And they put such love and care in it here, which is also, to me, a kind of a luxury thing, is that they put such care into everything they do in Thailand. And I have my coffee. So I go out. I catch the little shuttle, which it's only like a 5-minute walk up to the main road, but I get in the little shuttle and get driven up there, because that's a luxury. It's like, part of the condo I live in, I have the luxury of being driven to the end of the street. So that's a luxury. Buying clothes that aren't practical. So now that I can actually fit into pretty much anything I try on, for the most part, I don't think I've come across anything so far that hasn't fit me. And even, those one size things, you go away on holidays to Bali, Thailand, these places, and it's like one size, yes, fits everyone. Yeah, no, it doesn't. I know as well as you do. No, they don't. So I now have the luxury of, yes, one size. If there's no size on the thing, I'm pretty sure it's going to fit me anyway. So I've got to get into the headspace now of being able to buy whatever I like and what makes me feel. Femininity's on this list, right? Feminine and girly. Yet up until now, I haven't really bought that many clothes since I've been here. I've bought one skirt, a couple of tops, but the tops aren't really girly, but the skirt is. So I need to start looking at the feminine stuff, the things that I know I can wear. But I've had, over 3 decades of looking at clothes, and you know what I mean. You look at those clothes, you look at the arms, you go, yep, that's not going to fit my arms, not a chance. Oh, yep, that'll fit the top, but that won't fit my hips, so not a chance. And you visually size things up. So you're not buying for luxury, you're buying for practicality and what's actually going to fit you. That's it, right? So now I've got to change my mindset and go, I've got the luxury of choosing now. So what do I want to choose? And I've talked about this before in some of my weight loss surgery videos, is that I still, and it's 3 years since my weight loss surgery, and I've maintained, 60 kilo weight loss. And that's why I'm going ahead with all the surgeries now. I still don't know what my style is. I still don't know what my thing is, right? And I've got the luxury now of choosing what that is or figuring out what that is. But up until now, I haven't really understood that I have that luxury and that I should pursue that luxury of like trying different things and seeing, not just what looks good, but, what I feel good in. Does it matter if it's age appropriate? Probably not. Or probably it does. I don't know. Here in Thailand, people wear all kinds of things. So I think I could get away with anything that I'd want to wear. But yeah, I still walk around the shops and I find myself gravitating towards these simple linen type things because they're practical. And I realize now as I'm looking around that is the only reason that I look at them, is because they're practical and they're simple. And I think, and I'm still in that mindset of, oh yeah, that'll fit, that'll work. So luxury for me is figuring out what my style is and figuring out what I want to wear, what my style is, how. Yes, I let myself go grey, and I don't intend to re-dye my hair because that's just going down a whole nother rabbit hole, right? I've just got to work out how not to have it all what do you call it, frizzy here in Bangkok. That's the only journey I've got to take with my hair. What else have I got on my list here? Also, luxury for me is taking time to just wander and let my mind wander as I wander. So today, middle of the day, Hubby had a nap. I went, got myself my coffee and just wandered through the shops, wandered down the street, in the air conditioning because it is getting distinctly hot now. And I just wandered, and that's a luxury, because for me to switch off from my work and from all the other things that I do besides this, it's hard for me to switch off. That's actually a luxury for me, to switch off completely from everything. So I did that today, just to put myself in that indulgent space of just like, I don't have to think about anything. And I looked at clothes and I looked at lingerie, because that's coming up, the luxury of buying all new underwear after my next surgery next month. So I'm having the, what am I having? I'm having the breast lift and the side lift. So this bit here where it's all this stuff that you can't see under the shirt. That's so, but I'm not, because of the breast lift, I'm not buying any underwear, even though I need new knickers badly. I'm not doing anything until I've had that done, because then I can buy lovely, luxurious, matching, indulgent sets, right? So another month or two, and once that's sorted out, I'll get new sets. But luxury for you also, when it comes to lipedema and any kind of chronic disease, might be going and seeing a new practitioner or a healer or a coach or a naturopath or whatever it is for you that you might think is indulgent and all the things. But, we lose so much with things like lipedema and weight, and you feel so bad about yourself. I think anything that makes you feel good about yourself is a luxury that you and I need to actually pursue, right? So, and I know for years I didn't justify doing nice things for myself. I did do nice things for myself, but I always had this thing in my head that, why are you getting your nails done? It doesn't change the way you look, but we all do it. We like get the nails done and all that sort of thing, because it's like, well, acrylic nails fit me, new shoes fit me, right? So I've done all the things. But yeah, it's like, what do you like? What do you want? What do you wish you could wear? There's one thing I figured out when we went to Vietnam, and some of you may be able to, this may be on your list that you do all the time. This may not be in your list of things that you can do. But I came across, there was so many dressmakers in Vietnam, and I came across a channel on Instagram, and it was a lipedema lady. For the life of me, I don't remember her name, but she was in Hoi An. So we went to Hanoi. So Hoi An and Da Nang, I think, are close together, and that's on our list down the track to head over there for 4 or 5 days. But she had all these clothes made. She literally took across all these pictures of what's current and what's, in vogue and all this sort of thing, but had them made for her. Okay. And she would have been, I'm going to say she was bigger than I was at 130 kilos and, stage 2 to 3. I'd say she's a stage 3 plus. But she had all these clothes and outfits, like leather jacket made, boots, boots. We can't do boots. You can do boots if you had them made custom for yourself in Vietnam, right? And I think she spent all in all less than $500. Like for, I'm going to say she had from memory 10 outfits made and boots and a jacket, leather jacket, like, and I'm talking a long leather jacket down to the ground. I don't know where she was from. She was from somewhere cold, clearly, because that wouldn't be on my list for here. But they were luxuries for her, for lipedema, to make her feel good and make her feel put together and feel dressed and lovely and feminine and all the things. And she justified it to herself. And I think so many times we just don't justify that we're worth the luxury, and that if we can't find clothes to fit us, well, then what's the point in having our hair done? What is the point in wearing lovely makeup? What is the point in, getting your nails done? And we go through spits and spurts of all that sort of thing. But they're the things that make us feel good. They're the things that still make us feel feminine and lovely and like we're worth it. It doesn't matter that we've got these chronic diseases. It doesn't matter that we've got this issue that we can't do anything about it. We're still worth the effort of feeling feminine. It doesn't matter what other people think, right? We think that's the point. We think that we're dressing for other people. But girls, you know as well as I do, we're not dressing for other people. We're dressing to feel feminine ourselves. We're dressing to feel sexy ourselves. So however that is for you, that's the luxury, right? It doesn't matter if nobody's seeing your sexy underwear. It doesn't matter if nobody's seeing, or smelling the perfume that you put on. Not that we should be wearing perfume. We should be wearing essential oils. But if they make you feel good, if they make you feel indulgent and luxury and like you're worth it, then we've got to do these things for ourselves, right? And we've got to stop farming out our validation to other people around us and expecting them to say, oh, I see what you're wearing, I see what you're doing, or, you look great, whatever it is, and just start giving that to ourselves and finding those things that make us feel good just for us, because lipedema is tough, right? We know this. Lipedema is a struggle, no matter which way you slice it. So if we're going to deal with this, and we have to deal with this for the rest of our life, no matter what stage we're in, no matter what type we've got, no matter whether we've had surgeries, not had surgeries, excess weight, not excess weight, menopause, not menopause, whatever it is, we still deserve to feel good. We still deserve to feel however it is we want to feel. You may not want to feel feminine. That's cool. I like to feel feminine, but I realized recently that I don't do the things necessarily that make me feel feminine. I might look nice. I might look put together. But I would, when this astrologer said to me this little list of things that I am meant to be sitting in, the indulgence, the comfort, the luxury, the naturalness, the sexuality, the femininity, I was like, oh crap. I'm so focused on, I've got to get this done. I've tick, 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 tick boxes, right? I was so focused on the tick boxes. So it is time for me to start focusing on femininity and what brings me joy. And I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks on and off about joy and that sort of thing. But now, after seeing this astrologer, which was a luxury, I'm now going to start focusing on other areas of my life that make me feel good, just for the sake of making me feel good. It doesn't have to make anyone else feel good. Nobody else has to know what I'm doing, and nobody else has to know what you're doing. What are you doing behind your closed doors that makes you feel good, right? That's what I want to encourage you to do, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start doing the things behind my locked door. And, if my husband raises his eyebrows and sort of like questions what I'm doing, that's okay. He's used to me doing weird things, so that's all right. I'm just going to keep doing the things that I think is making me feel feminine and girly and indulgent and luxurious. And I'm going to keep trying to figure out what that is, because I've not given myself the luxury of actually even figuring out what that is for myself up until now. So better late than never, hey, at 55. And some of you might be younger, some of you might be older. It's never too late to figure out what makes you feel good, because the lipedema is not going anywhere right now. So let's feel good even though we have these issues, even though the legs are like not, picture perfect legs, even though they might be, painful to walk on or whatever. What makes you smile when you sit down and you're resting your lipedema legs? Is it having the pedicure and seeing bright toes or a rainbow of toes or whatever? Is it buying sexy heels and just wearing them while you're on your couch in your pajamas? Whatever it is, whatever lights you up, right? So that's my little thoughts for this week and why they came about after seeing the astrology yesterday. So I would love to hear from you. Jane, please recap your progress this week before signing off. Got onto the stream late. Okay, Jane. Oh, my progress, that's right, because I was throwing everything at it. Well, I'm here to say my progress has been actually really good. My weight has come down and my legs already feel less poofy on the sides like I had discussed with you. I'm already looking, and it's only been, this week, right? And what I've been doing, I went back to the gym, so back to riding the bike, and I was pleasantly surprised to discover that I could do 30 minutes still, no problem, because that's what the original bike riding challenge was, 30 minutes a day. So I could do that. And I've brought back in the calf raises and in the shower again. And what else have I done? We've done lots of walking, as we always do. And what else have I done? Okay, food-wise, here's what I did. Rather than go back to hardcore carnivore, I kind of gone back to keto, but I've made it really simple to remove the stress, right? And I've been making up a huge salad. So meat or chicken or whatever the meat is, it doesn't matter. It's whatever I've bought at the shops that's cheap and in big amounts sort of thing. And I make up a massive salad with the meat. So it's mostly herbs, I've got to say, instead of the greens, but it's some form of green herbs, generally coriander. If you've got thyroid issues or heavy metal issues, by the way, coriander chelates heavy metals out of your system. So there's protocols online that I've seen studies on that if you have 3 tablespoons coriander a day daily, that chelates heavy metals over 30 days. I can't remember. Don't quote me on that one. Exactly what the time frame of the study was. But what I've done is, because I'm also busy, I was like, and this one particular, it didn't start on purpose. I just made this massive salad one day with meat in it, and it just was so luxurious. It tasted, because I'm so used to just having meat now, and it just tasted so luxurious. And I put some peanuts in it, and I put, what else was in it? Just the basics: carrot, greens, cucumber, meat, coriander. I've got some avocados, but they weren't ripe yet. And that was about it. And mayo, because there's certain things that I still can't find here that are sort of carnivore-ish. So that wasn't ideal, the mayo, because the mayo's seed oil's in it, right? But that's kind of the only seed oil, I suppose, that I'm having at the moment. And I just made this big-ass salad, and it was so tasty. And and chili flakes, because I live in Thailand now, and it turns out once you live in Thailand for a while, you put chili flakes on everything. So I still have my eggs for breakfast, scrambled eggs with chili flakes and salt for breakfast. And then I've just been having this salad, lunch and dinner. Last night we went up to market, so we had some treat dinner last night, in so much as different Thai Khnom crocs and things that you'll probably never heard of. But apart from that, every day I've been doing that, and I've come down, I'm going to say close to 2 kilos. I can see my legs visibly, and I am a bit shocked. So I'm really glad you asked me, Jane. Thank you. Because I'm really shocked that I found that I could visibly see, wow, they're slimming down again, literally in that week of throwing everything at it. The bike riding, the calf raises, I think the simplicity of the food, just not thinking about it, just having a big salad and having that for lunch and dinner, maybe that's going to be okay. Coriander, you mean the greens part, not the seeds. Oh yes, I mean the herb, the fresh coriander or cilantro might be wherever you're from. So yeah, because that kind of stuff here is really super cheap. You can get like a massive bunch of cilantro, coriander here for like 50 cents, whereas back in Australia, a small bunch was about $4. Yeah, really cheap sort of herbs here. So I tend to, and it's cheaper than the lettuces and the greens and that sort of thing. So I just kind of went through and just picked a few things. It's still a really simple salad, but it was so tasty. And yeah, I've been really surprised that over the week, pretty much every day I've kept with my water challenge, which I'll get you that video sooner or later. I'm really happy that I committed to these lives every Sunday night because it's easy. I don't have to edit it. I don't have to do anything. I just have to sit here and chat to you. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have seen me for the last 3 or 4 months because I've been so busy. But so having that big salad, so that might be an option for you. If you're not quite sure what you're doing with food and everything's a bit much, make it a really nice, luxurious for you, indulgent for you. Put the nuts in it. So we had peanuts for the first salad, and we'd run out of those. And so for the second salad, I had sliced almonds in the freezer, because every now and again, like I think twice since we've been here is how every now and again I've made like a traditional potato salad, which I put sliced almonds that have been toasted into. So that's all I had. So I toasted them out of the freezer and put them in my salad. Oh, there was onions. I fried some onions up in bacon fat and threw them in the salad. I think the first salad had chicken. The second salad, there was steak. It wasn't reasonably priced, but it looked really nice. I was like, I'm having steak today. So that was in the second salad. A bit too much chili in that salad, but it was still really good. So put together whatever you like. And yeah, that was lunch and dinner for me, which makes it really easy. You know, when I stop working, then I've already got dinner ready to go. So yeah, so I'm very happy to report that it's already making a difference, and I feel lighter. I feel better in my legs. I feel, yeah, I don't know, after only a week. And I'm really glad you asked, because it's made me reflect on the fact that, yeah, and when I got home today, when I got the shuttle home, my luxurious little shuttle down the street, and I walked in I was looking at the sides of my legs in the reflection of the big glass doors coming into the condo building, and they were definitely back to sort of where they were looking beforehand. And then so when I got in the lift, I looked at the mirror at the back of the lift and had another look and thought, yep, definitely getting back. And that's only a week. So obviously it was inflammation, because if it was definitely lipedema fat, or if my legs had grown, then it wouldn't shrink that quickly. It wouldn't shrink at all, would it? Right? Because lipedema fat doesn't go anywhere. So I'm going to say I caught it, which is why we've got to watch our bodies. That's why we've got to be looking at ourselves from a different lens, not looking at ourselves and condemning ourselves, but looking at our bodies every day in these little ways and going, where are you at? Where are you at, my friend? Like, you know, what's going on here, you know? And loving every part of ourselves, which is really hard for us to do. But I think it's really, that's a luxury, is loving ourselves and our body no matter where we're at. And because of that, I noticed what was going on really quickly. Jane, so happy. Yes, so am I. Did you use any compressions like when exercising? My leggings, I have actually Fanker leggings, and they have compression in them, so they both feel lovely and look lovely. I don't know if you've checked out Fanker. I will come back around after this and put it in the description box or whatever. But Fanker they're not medical grade, but they have got millimoles of mercury, certain amounts of compression in them. and they have these compression bands that go down the legs, and they just keep everything. And I've had a double knee replacement, so my knees only bend so far because they're both titanium. So anywhere that I feel fully supported, which the Fanka leggings I do, is great. Walking around the place, so I live in leggings, I have to say. They're not the girly thing. And I did wear jeans twice this week just to try and start to play with this whole, what's my style now? But I also wear some cotton leggings that I get from Kmart, that I brought from Kmart from Australia before I left. And they're not as fancy or as pretty or as sexy looking, but they still do the job, right? But they're firm. They're quite firm on me. So when I interviewed Dr. Leslyn Keith, she was saying you don't need to necessarily, if you don't feel relief wearing a compression, then you don't necessarily need compressions all the time. And she just did say wearing firm leggings, even 3/4 ones, is probably enough for some people, depending on where they're at. And I love the Fanka ones, and they do make me feel pulled in, and I wore them on the plane coming over here. And that kind of thing. I've actually got some on order that are on their way because I've only got long ones. So I've got some 3/4 ones on their way. So that will be really interesting to test out. That'll be another video, I suppose, to share with you that side of things. But anything, so compressions, you've got to try them. If you think that, if they're drawing you and you think that they might help you, try it, right? Only you would know for your body and your legs if you feel so much better wearing compressions every day. I have a friend who she swears by wearing them every single day. She does not go a day without them. Me, I can sort of go between sort of thing. And, you know, I seem to be doing okay. But whether or not that's because of the stage that I'm at now with the weight loss and I do other things, don't know. I don't know, but I do believe it's different for everybody. So I try things that I think, oh, that might be okay for me. Let me give it a shot and see what happens, which is why last week I just went, oh, I'm just throwing everything at it. And see what happens. But that's what we've all got to do. We're our own crash test dummies, right? Nobody else is going to figure us out for us. They're going to give us the general rules. They're going to say, I've got a video on here somewhere, the 8 things for lipedema. And they are basically the 8 things that we can use to help ourselves, right? So between the diet, the movement, compressions, GLP-1s, surgery, I'm trying to think of the other 3, whatever they are, there's really only 8 kind of options that we've got for lipedema. So any way that we can feel good about ourselves, feel like we can be mobile, feel like we're still contributing to our own life, not necessarily even contributing to other people's lives, but just for our own life, then amazing. That's what we need to do, right? Because with chronic disease, it's pretty shit, right? Pardon my, if you're not a swearer, sorry, but it is really a shit thing to deal with. So I will continuously look at ways that I can feel better and that I can feel more like me. But now, after 30 years of being obese and having these issues, I don't even know who that is anymore. I don't even know what femininity is for me. So we're going to see what happens, and we're going to keep trundling forward and working that out. So that's what I hope for you is what you will do. But definitely compressions, if you are feeling like you're drawn to them, find some. But I'll circle back and I'll put the Fanka link in of where I get mine. And I'll bring you a video sooner or later about them too. So, all right. So that's it from me this week. And I will see you all next Sunday, if not before. And I hope you have an amazing, amazing week. Bye. I've got to find the way to get off now.